Hey there, it's been an incredible year, and I met some amazing people along the way who talk about living with HIV. I plan to do more of this in 2023. So today I'm sharing my highlights of the year. So sit back and enjoy. Here we go! I just ignored it. I work with a man in his late 20s, very closely at work, and we had a discussion about me living with HIV. He had several questions, like, do I take medication every day for it? Will it ever go away as in a cure, or is it expensive? Can I spread it to others? And so on. And some of the questions I was quite surprised he didn't know the answers to, but I was more than happy to explain to him that you cannot spread it to others as long as you are undetectable. And there is no cure after 40 years. It's satisfying for me to talk about living with HIV, either in person, online, or on YouTube. Is there a link between HIV and bone density loss? Some studies have shown that link between HIV and bone loss. Problems like fractures and breaks may be more common. Studies have shown that certain HIV drugs, such as, forgive me if I mispronounce this, but tenofovir and the other two listed here, what I discovered in the Biktarvy I've been taking, that tenofovir, or tenofovir, however you say it, is one of the 3 drugs in my medication. I recently had a specialist appointment with my HIV doctor, and we discussed about 5 years I've been taking this medication, also being 45, that she's sending me out to get a scan, bone density scan. So we'll see how that turns out. They say about half of people with HIV and on treatment develop osteoporosis. They find that you're twice as likely to have a fracture or a bone break.
My name is Tuishime Claire Gastamagera. I'm originally from East Central Africa in a country called Rwanda. And I am now a very proud Detroiter. So I live in Detroit, Michigan. And I'm a mom of 2 healthy boys. I am a writer. I write for almost all HIV media, HIV and AIDS media in the United States. And I'm always proud because I'm an immigrant to say I'm the proud winner of the 2019 Literary Award. I'm proud to say what I do. And then I am one of the oldest people born with HIV. I'm an activist. I started when I was 18. Now I'm still doing my job, just making sure we have rights, making sure people live longer, healthy, sexy, and happy lives. So we have so many people coming to work from my house, and one particular moment I remember, the housemaid always refused to wash my feet and to wash me or do anything for me, and they would say I have AIDS.
Yeah, that was a social stigma back then, and they're still alive today, but they didn't know much about AIDS back then. So I'm assuming that the HIV was passed on through your mother through birth, correct?
Yes.
Some people are not aware that that can even happen. So even just to speak out about that. Here we go. What I didn't realize is that they were studying mRNA technology since the 1960s. That's incredible. Starting this past month, they started 3 clinical trials on HIV vaccines using the mRNA technology. They say it will take about 5 to 10 years, but take that with a grain of salt. As most of you already know, that Pfizer and Moderna vaccines for COVID-19 use the mRNA technology as well. They learned some things with this technology and using it for HIV, but remember, HIV disease is a very tricky virus to tackle. So once you get HIV, it's in your body for life, whereas COVID-19, you can fight it off and shed it away. Here are some global estimates of people living with HIV. Starting in 1990, 8 million. 2000, 25.5 million, and that is quite a jump. And what I believe is that in 1996, they came up with this life-saving med, so people were living, no longer dying like they used to. So moving on, 2010, 31.1 million. And 2020, 37.7 million. Like I said, people are no longer dying of the disease like they used to, but there's still problems in third world countries. Getting the treatment, it's quite expensive. Today we have a returning guest, Christopher Knox. He wants to share with us a very important conversation about HIV injection treatment. Some people may not even know about this even exist. Could you please start by telling us why you made the switch?
Easier on my health.
What kind of side effects have you had with daily oral medications?
Anxiety, depression, and I found out that when you're on I was on 2 pills every day, every morning, Endurant,
Okay.
and Vocabria. I had to take the pills with food.
Okay.
Yeah. And with that, you can't take anything like St. John's wort or zinc. Yeah.
Yeah, I find that with a lot of the medications, I take Biktarvy is the same thing. I take 1 pill a day.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I don't feel much side effects like you have.
Yeah.
So you started on oral medication prior to the Cabenuva taking it, right? To see if you would interact okay with it?
Yes. Yes.
You can't just jump into the Cabenuva treatment injection right away. You have to be suppressed viral load.
Yeah, it's still undetectable with your viral load 50 or lower. But your CD4 count does not have to be normal. As long as you're undetectable, you can go for the injectables. But like I said, 2 pills for 1 month. Go see your doctor. And if you're undetectable, you will get the injections.
On my acute HIV symptoms answered. USAF Dirt Boys. Thanks, dude, for your video. You are a warrior. I am a trans woman and had all the symptoms while living in the Philippines. But my symptoms were not as long or hardcore. While I was waiting to get the 4th generation test at 4 weeks, I had my T-cell count done at about 2 weeks and it was about 350. I was sure I was infected. And by the way, an average for adult male for the CD4 count should be between 5 and 1500, so he is below that, so that's kind of scary. Alas, 4 weeks I tested and it was negative. A doctor in the Philippines told me that I must have had some kind of freaky virus that infected my immune system. That's quite possible. Thanks for people like you who spread the word about your story. I have given up on dangerous sex. My close call, it really sank in as opposed to all the other times I lied and said I'd never do it again. After I tested negative and then went right back to being an idiot. If your video stops just one person from getting infected, then you have changed the world in my eyes. So on to my HIV confessions video. Now this one, I really bared my soul. I shared at the time when I was infected with HIV, and it was very personal to me. So personal, I kind of wanted to show it as I had my shirt off as symbolism, as being open. So this one's from Dr. Hilarious, I like that name. He's just simply said, stay strong, which I appreciate any support. This one's from Eric Benendez. Never feel ashamed of yourself, Michael. You weren't responsible for getting infected. The person who infected you should be in jail. People who use drugs and go around offering it to people like us, the ones that look humble and easy to fall. Running away is the best solution to avoid any problems. As a gay, I have never used drugs or have allowed people to offer me. I run away from a bad vibe. Always got to be alert on your surroundings. You and I are good, but the person next door isn't. I will always be here to listen to you if you need someone to talk to. Wow, thank you very much. I blame myself sometimes, but actually not as much as I used to. I know I made a mistake. People do in their lives, and they learn and they move on, and maybe something positive can come out of it. And my view, doing this is the positivity of coming. Happy Pride Month. Last year I did a video touching on the Stonewall movement. This year I want to focus on activism against HIV/AIDS and also focus on Pride Month. In the local news here recently, a high school reported that a pride flag that they had displayed has been stolen. So they replaced it, and then within a couple of days it was actually burned, and as well as the Canadian flag. To me, that is shameful and ignorant. It shows that homophobia is still alive and well today. Thank you for joining me. We have Andy Feds, best known all over social media. He is a stand-up comedian who is open about his HIV status, and he was born with HIV. And also he is an HIV/AIDS activist to educate and to combat stigma. We will touch on that later, but first I want to talk about the beginnings of how it all began.
Yeah, most definitely. I was born HIV positive. Got it from my mom, who in turn got it from a partner, and then her partner never told her. And then when the health department came and knocked on her door after the guy passed away, before HIPAA laws were super strict, they told her, "Hey, so and so passed from AIDS, and maybe you should get tested as well." When she got tested, she came back positive, but didn't really share with anybody other than like her best friend. And then when I got sick, that's when they ran tests for me and found out that my mom was also positive as well. So she just kind of, I guess, let the fear and the stigma affect her so much to not get treated for treatment for the both of us.
Wow. And yeah, at the time in the night, that was the 90s, right? And
yeah,
the treatments were very harsh. Like people were getting heart attacks and so on, diabetes. I mean, it's much better today. Sadly, she passed away at the young age of 26. How old were you when she passed?
I was 5.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Thank goodness you're here and well today. I mean, it could have been a more tragic story.
Yeah.
It probably made you stronger.
Most definitely.
Okay. So you're brave to do stand up and talk about your HIV status and joke about it, but also, you're entertaining them and educating at the same time. But I've read that some people have been getting offended and standing up and walking out. And I'm like, it's already difficult to be a comedian just to be one. And then I commend you for doing this, really.
Thank you. So when I first started doing comedy, I was actually just a regular comedian, so to speak, talking about life, family, things like that. And then when I turned 24, that's when I decided to flip my comedy and focus mostly on my HIV. So it's now life with HIV. So like now when I'm, or back in 2020 when the pandemic hit, I used to always get on like Instagram lives with like celebrities and whomever might have a talent show there. And folks would, in the comment section, be bashing me like hard just because I was talking about HIV, and then you had the plenty of people that actually liked it. But
focus on the positives. You have to have thick skin. I of course, anyone being, like me being on YouTube, I of course have people bashing me and telling me I'm a piece of crap and blah, 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 I should die. Well, you gotta push that away and just focus on the positive what you're doing.
Yeah. And I'm from Chicago, so we got thick skin. So
yeah. I had to develop it, actually. I couldn't take anything at first, but then I grew and learned, not to take it too harshly. So PrEP is a medication you take daily to prevent you from contracting HIV. They're meant for high-risk groups, such as sex workers, intravenous drug users, and homosexual men who have sex with other men. It takes 7 days of daily treatment to be fully protected through anal sex and 20 days with vaginal sex. Usually side effects are mild and only affects about 10%, and it goes away within about 2 weeks. It is safe to use and well worth it. And if you're wondering why I wasn't using PrEP before I was diagnosed with HIV, it's because I was diagnosed in August of 2017 and it wasn't available until that following December. Now here is the problem. There is a lawyer out of Texas named Jonathan Mitchell who actually took part in the anti-abortion laws and marriage equality. Now he has his sights on PrEP. He wants to take to court to give the employers rights to ban PrEP of them paying for it because of their religious beliefs. He believes it promotes promiscuous homosexual behavior, prostitution, and drug use. Firstly, I firmly believe religion and laws and politics should not mix, especially when it comes to your overall health. People are going to get this disease and it will cost far more financially, emotionally, and jeopardize your overall health. We need to rise and stand up against the proposed laws like anti-abortion and the use of life-saving medications. In my eyes, it's a human right to choose and to be yourself. When monkeypox started spreading globally, the major news networks have been covering it like this. The majority of cases have been coming from men who are having sex with other men. They closed bathhouses because of it. And if you're not sure what a bathhouse is, it's a place where gay men go to have sex with other men and they usually rent rooms out by the hour. It's never been a place that I would want to visit, but I understand why men want to explore their sexual freedom and feel like it's a safe place to do so. So I get it. So anyone can catch the disease from close skin-to-skin contact, usually through sex. It does not know whether you're gay or straight. It doesn't care. I heard a recent report in Ontario, Canada, that there's been 500 cases reported, and all but 3 were male. They didn't need to report their sexual status. I'm tired of the media spinning it around just for ratings. We don't need another target on the LGBTQ+ community. I am an HIV/AIDS activist, and I stand behind the LGBTQ+ community. It doesn't matter how you contract the disease, whether through sexual intercourse or birth, both of those actions are innate. And it doesn't matter your sexual orientation. Being undetectable, as such as myself, the risk of heart attack and stroke are 1.5 to 2 times more likely than the person who doesn't have HIV. So you probably know where I'm going with this. I had recent blood work done and my cholesterol's a little high, but not alarming. But he discussed with me I might have to go on medication to bring down the cholesterol level. As well as my blood pressure is a little high. Also, I visited a bone density specialist. He told me that for my age, that it's on the low side. And I've discussed this before in another video, but he wants me to go for more blood work to rule out osteoporosis, which is common in people taking HIV medication. So we're starting with what happens if you stop taking HIV medication. This is from Michael Jones. I've been taking Triamec for 9 years and with no issues. Unfortunately, it's looking like I may have to go off due to the lack of access to care. The most peculiar part is, although I have private insurance, the communication between the mail order pharmacy and the doctor's office just isn't working. So I'll have to go into the doctor's office and visit, and it won't happen until near the end of October. Even under the best conditions, it's possible to lose access to care for different periods of time and various reasons like job changes or drug itinerary changes. I've been positive since 1998, and luckily the situation I'm speaking about has only happened 2 or 3 times to me. Cheers to the American healthcare system. What a bummer. Wow, I looked up the average cost in the US pharmacy, and I seen that it's about $3,100 a month, whereas in Canada it's only about $1,600. That's crazy to me, how the difference in different countries. The FDA approved this drug in 2014, and I see there's no generic form available. They probably have a patent still for a few years. So going on and off the medication can prove dangerous to your health. I mean, the virus could have resistance and the medication won't be as effective, and then you had to change that, and then you could have different side effects and so on. Monkeypox in the media. This is from one and only Scott from Denver, Colorado, and this is myhivteam.com where he commented, not YouTube, but he saw the video. Thank you, sir, for adding me to your team, and yes, monkeypox is no different from HIV. When it started, it doesn't matter where the blame is. It's where the media loves to thrive on blaming it on gays all the time. But on the other hand, when it's here, it's here. And it needs to be recognized that when the virus is here, it doesn't matter where, what, or why. We just need to get it under control. He said, have a good day, sir, and thank you for your video. Another one for this is Insane UPS Driver. Love that one, and I've seen him around on my channel, and I'm happy that you're following me, because really, you're cool. I got into the argument with my dad the other day. Keep up the good work. He learned, air quotes. This is from the TV news, as well as he's very old and bigoted. P.S. Good to see you. You're doing well. Haven't seen you since you were on that talk show, which was Sally Jesse RBL, where it all began. So I'm thankful for you guys following me in this, and I'm hoping that by educating and sharing that maybe some views people might change for the better. So this is a lot of the reason why I'm doing these. When a person is drug resistant to any HIV, one or more of the antiretroviral drug, it no longer can keep you at that undetectable state. Drug resistance is caused by changes to the virus during replication, which is called mutations. HIV-1 drug resistance is manageable for people though. To reduce the risk of becoming resistant to the medication, take your meds every day as prescribed. Never miss. HIV is a very smart virus, very good at infecting cells and reproducing. ART has to be just as smart, if not smarter. If a person with HIV is not treated properly, the viral load would become higher and then your CD4 count would start to lower, having risk of infection and even transmit to another. Now this is rare. Someone who is taking PrEP to prevent HIV could possibly get infected anyway, and if they do, they have a higher chance of resisting the two medications in the PrEP. HIV drug resistance is important to everyone, whether you're HIV positive or not. I'm proud of what I accomplished this year, and I'm grateful to have this platform to speak on. Thank you for spending your time with me, and I hope you enjoyed. Have a happy and safe holiday season. I look forward to 2023. Please remember to like and subscribe. Tap that notification bell if you haven't already. For now, Michael K here. Take care, everyone.